Hi, my name is Wilx, and this is episode 5 of Skybees. Well, today I'm going to show you the mob farm I made, and we're going to kill some withers safely as well. I'd actually planned on doing a whole bunch of other things on this episode and decided against them. I changed my mind 4 times on what all was going to be in this episode. For instance, I was seriously considering making a automated sieving operation. But when I looked at what I was doing, it was so simple, I didn't think I needed a video for it. Let me cover the important points on it. For the sieving operations, one, you've got to be able to break down the cobble into gravel, for instance. Now, you can do that 2 different ways. You can do that with either the immersive engineering crusher, but you will have had to have got some creosote oil and stuff already before you can do that. Or, a suggestion from Loophole, you can make a silic miner and put a hammer in it and use that to break it down. Now, as to which one is best and why is up to you. For instance, a silic miner, you're going to need 36 iron, 18 lapis, you're going to need power, and you're going to need the silic solidifier and melter to get there. Whereas with the immersive engineering, you're going to have to build the multi-block structure, you're going to already have to have creosote oil, you're already going to have a bunch of other things as well. So none of them are at the very beginning of the game, but all of them are early game. Then you can, the sieve, you can use a user on it to push the sieve, and you can use routers or whatever you want to move the stuff around. That was pretty simple. I didn't really need to do an episode on it. The other thing I was going to do was I built myself a platform up there for astral sorcery. And I was going to do astral sorcery and a little bit of blood magic, but that was going to make the episode too long. So I solidified on this, and my episode's going to be a little short, but that's okay. So let's get started over here on our mob farm. So we'll go up. I'm going to start at the top and work my way down. I put in some elevators. So this goes up here. And let's come around and take a peek at this stuff. All right. So down the very end there's a set of fans. There's a full set of fans running along the floor. And then up to is every other spot has a fan to push spiders and stuff. Because I'm way up here in the air, I don't have to worry about there being bats or anything like that. They have to be down lower for bats to appear. And they get all pushed down here. Now, there is a separate... Oh, and you got to adjust the fan so that I think they're pushing like 46 or something. And I put them up at a full 20 there. Now, I have another set of fans. Get through here. You can see there's 3 more fans, and they push them all over into this corner here. Now, I'd originally planned on killing the spiders. I put a 1 high thing here, so only the spiders could get here, and they would get killed and wouldn't get stuck on it. See, there's one getting killed. Some of the spiders try to climb up. Oh, look at that Enderman. He just died there. I'll show you why in a sec. I have a fan pointing down that usually pushes the spiders down, but not... Oh, and some 1 high guys get killed there too. The spiders get pushed out. Well, everything gets pushed down a little bit. But I've got that fan set a little weaker. Those are at a full... Oh, what are you doing up here? Okay. The fans are... this one's only set to a power of 2. It's up in the ceiling there. And it helps push things down. Over here, I guess you can see it better if I'm up here. That is a set of player traps, and those catch the Enderman. I don't want them hitting the fluid and phasing out of the place. So it's 3 high. All the other mobs go underneath it. Maybe spiders, if they manage to get up there, will get caught. And That's how I deal with that part of it. The other thing to show you up here, oh, there's two other things to show you up here. To deal with the mob drops that are up here, I've got an item routed here with a vacuum module in it. It needed a range upgrade on it, a bunch of them. And then I've got a MK2, which leads to a chest downstairs, and it needed a few range upgrades to hit that spot. I've also got this for the experience. So there's a vacuum module in here. Let's show you that part. Now, you need to have an experience vacuum augment, but it wasn't working for me. It wasn't working for me. And then Panda suggested I have to have this set on experience bucket, because normally, I don't know what it is. Normally it's nothing. And that was necessary for the Silic experience. And then you also need this fluid transfer upgrade as well. And so what, anything else up here? Oh, yeah, one other thing. Over here, yeah, these are where the other fans are. I'm going to put a lever beside each fan to turn it on. And this is for the fan that's up here. I guess I could show you that one. Okay, so this fan is set to only a 3, and I've set it to a 27 range, which doesn't quite make it to the ground on the range. If I set this too high, it basically pushes them down to the ground and kills them. The other fans, let me out. Over there are set to a power of 20 to push as hard as they can to get here. Oh, and to place the fan on the ceiling, you just be standing down there and put it up like that. Okay. I've got a set of player traps here and a bunch of grass there. And so can we get up a little higher so we can see it? No, that doesn't help seeing it at all. So there's a set of fans down the other end. Push any animals to here. And yes, I'm getting animal spawns. Now, depending on your biome, the spawning could be poor. For instance, if you're in ocean biome, give up now. You're not getting animal spawns. You're going to have to find a different biome if you want to spawn animals. If you haven't, now in general, your animal spawns are still going to be poor. If you haven't deleted the performant mod yet, look at the config changes I suggested in the description for episode 2. Then lots of animals will spawn if you make those changes. If you've already deleted it, like I had, then you should be getting some animal spawns, but they spawn slowly. You can speed that up with water candles, but warning, you get lots of slimes. And where I've got this configured, where I've got it placed, I had slimes falling down on my base, and I decided, nope, not acceptable. So I didn't use the water candles, and I'm getting enough animal spawns. I only needed like a feather was the main thing. After you get the Elven Portal, you can make cocoons, which are really good for animal spawns. But you need a feather to get there, so you need the feather in the first place. If you're in an ocean biome, you've got to hope for a zombie jockey rider on a chicken, and you can get a feather that way. But they don't spawn very often, so you might be a little while waiting for that. Okay, so that's it for up here. We'll go back down and cover this part here. What have I done? What's this weird looking thing here? Why is it like that? Okay, so there is a player trap down here that catches them and kills them, and I get all the player drops that way. Then up there, I've got witch water. And I got a surprise. The mobs try to phase through the walls when there's witch water there. So I was getting wither skeletons that were landing on my base. So I made it a little bigger, put a ring of player traps around it. So then when they phase, they just end up on the player traps and die there instead. It also catches the creepers. The creepers turn into charge creepers. Think John Cena creepers. So make sure you've protected your base, right, with the you've claimed your chunks and stuff. And just so they can't do any damage that way. Now, I thought the witch water was going to slow them down enough so they wouldn't die from the fall damage, because like a zombie or something falls 20 squares, he dies from the fall. Well, that's more than 20 squares up. I thought the witch water was going to slow them down enough, but it didn't. So I had to put in water as well there. Now, the way that's being held is, see the tiny little black dot in the corner there? You put in what I put a block of wool, and I hit it with a chisel, got one chisel block. And one chisel block is enough to stop the fluid, but not the monsters. So the monsters can still get by it. I find it works better than the signs because it's smaller. And then they come down there and they get killed off like that. That's mana glass, in case you're wondering. I find it easier to see through than the regular glass. And we got a little bit of soundproofing there because they make some noise. Didn't need this much, but it looked better when I just made it all the same. And it's easier to see the mobs like that too. Then we've got what's this? Oh, that's another setup for experience, like I showed you up top, and it pushes into this quantum tank here, and it's got lots of experience in it. Eventually, I'm going to replace this, and I'll have Rosa Arcana down here. It's going to pick up the experience and make mana for me. This red block here is where my blood altar is going to go. So I can use the Dagger of Sacrifice here, and the blood will go into the blood altar, and then I can build down from there with a, like a, what do you call it, a upside down pyramid. Well, no, a pyramid. The right side up. But that's for another episode. Now, what was the other point about that? We'll cover that later. All right. So we've got an item router in here. It needed speed upgrades. Please note, for the speed upgrades, I needed blaze rods. We'll cover those in a second. Actually, before I forget, so that when I see them on my bar, where do I leave them? I thought I left them in here. Guess not. Come on, they were in here. I'm sure they were in here. Did I dump those somewhere else? Oh, yeah, I dumped them there. That's where they ended up. Okay, we'll deal with blazes in a sec. I need it because I needed the blaze to do that. So in here, this is where all the mob drops are going. Notice I'm getting animals, and I've got a bunch of feathers already. Let's cover up what's going on in there. So in this router here, it was similar to upstairs, except I've got a void module as well. And in my void module, I have an inspection filter here for durability less than 100% and durability greater than 0%. That gets rid of most of my junk armor and weapons that I don't want. But all the Apotheoso stuff is over 100%, so it's fine. Things that don't have durability don't get done because they're less than 0%. Then I've got a regex filter for player. That means that all the player heads are going to get destroyed. Now, other people have done it where they stick a player head in here as the filter on the whitelist, and then they have the tag. Ignore NBT, this one here. They ignore NBT, so one player head in there, and it gets rid of all the heads. But I am deliberately making wither skeletons and wither skeleton heads, so I used a regex filter instead. Actually, I could probably change this. Hold on a sec. Somebody suggested, Dragonaut suggested this, that if I Well, no, I actually directly asked the question. I think you can do player underscore head. Whoops, I don't need that in the beginning. Okay, so now I can use that as my regex filter instead. And it's just a little more specific. Just why I want it more specific is because I'm afraid if I break a player trap upstairs, it's going to come down here, get sucked in, and destroyed, right? So we can remove that regex filter and put this regex filter in. And now it does player head instead. That's better. Okay, and sender module is just moving it over one to this chest, and this is where I'm getting it here. So I have to go through, and this was full just before this episode. And I decided to keep these things here. None of them were particularly special, but that had enchantability at 22, 18. That had beheading on it. That had protection 5. That had featherfall, etc. So I found a few things that I wanted to keep, and I trashed all the rest. Now these are new ones here. Eventually, I'm going to want to keep a gold helm if I can. That's the one thing that's getting trashed, but I can always make a gold helm. That doesn't matter. Okay, this router here moves things over into the drawers. The way it does that is I put all the things that are to be moved into the drawers in here, put it on a whitelist, and it pulls it from those things from the chest and shoves them into the drawers here. We have lots of wither skulls, skeleton skulls. We got lots of ender pearls. I don't know why I bothered with the others. Just there was 9 things, so I did 9 things. Well, zombie flesh is handy. Yeah, actually, most of the stuff could be handy depending on what I decide to do. All right, and is that it for this mob farm? I think so. Originally, I was using ladders to get up there. Oh, those are just lanterns hanging from the bottom. It looked depressing when I looked up at it. Okay, and let's go on to downstairs and show you some stuff. Oh no, we were going to cover off blazes. I want to explain this. I was doing this sort of just as a test. I wasn't planning on keeping it. I decided, I wonder if they die on top of a player trap. Well, even before I tried this, I tried making fell pumpkins, and then I forgot that the blazes it creates only drop blaze powder, not blaze rods, so they weren't suitable. So I had to go back to making the blazing dolls, and that's lava in there. So I wanted to see if they could be killed on there. I just happened to have some orange glass because that's what I'd set up for my fell pumpkin test, and something weird happened on the way to this. Because I just put them in there and killed the blazes normally, and I go, this sucks. I went through 10 of them to get 1 blaze rod, and I go, I don't like that at all. I wonder if something else can do better. So we'll stick a blaze in there. And I stood right here, and that's like a 2 high space there, surrounded in... Oh, no, he got out. Well, he's going to get away. Nah, that's no good. You fall down. Yeah, you're gone. Okay. That's not what I was expecting to happen. Oh, you're back. Go away. I don't have a ranged weapon yet. I'm going to make one, but I don't have one yet. Okay, I guess I was standing this close. And what he did was he spawned in the glass itself. Oh, the other guy's bugging me. I don't think this guy can hit me. Let's go over here. Water. Oh, I guess I don't need to now. You go away. There we go. Oh, he had to drop the thing. Oh, I didn't do that. That's supposed to be 3 further than the rest of this. And I didn't do that. And I almost died. Oh, cool. Okay, let's try this again and see if I can actually demonstrate what I talked about. I stood right here, and I put that in there. I don't have a single blaze rod yet. And what he did was he sort of spawned in the glass. Like that. See, he can't hit me. Well, that's weird. It didn't work. Okay. When he was spawning in the glass, I was getting a blaze rod every time. Was it just random luck? Was I standing back further? Because each time they spawned in the glass, I got one every single time. Now, if I stand back too far, he gets out. Figures. Anyways, I got from 10 of these, I got like 10 blaze rods and made my. I've already made my blaze bee. I don't need them now. I just want to see this work once. No, he got out again. Okay. Never mind. That whole system doesn't work. Oh, well, maybe. Let's try it one more time. Damn it. Oh, but he was loose, so that was just random. That made no difference. Yeah, see, he can't hit me there. Oh, yes, he can. Well, he dropped one. Basically, if they spawned in the glass, they seem to be dropping them like every time. No, he didn't spawn in the glass. Oh well, enough fooling around with that. I already have my blaze bee, so I've got a bunch over here. Oh, something I should show you while I'm over here, because just to show you, I've got a bunch of blaze rods right now. Something that a lot of people didn't seem to know about, but I have covered multiple times before. Whoops. In here, notice I've got a bunch of bottles. So if we take this and I shift click that, it puts all the bottles in here at once. Now, in case you don't know about this, options, controls, and if we come down somewhere here, we're looking for K. There it is. Now, by default, compress all is Shift K and stack is K. I switched it around so it's just K for me now. Okay, got that part? Oh, what? Actually, I'll show you something else in there in a second. So what I do is I come over here, and the very last one along here, I hold my key over it, hit K. Why not? Oh, I know. I out of there, then do it. So E, because you need this up. Hit K. And it turns all the bottles into blocks. And it's that fast, that easy to empty them out. Reason I want to do that now is soon I'm going to automate that part. And I wanted to show you at least once how you do it before we did the automating part. Oh, put the spare bottles back in here. Okay, one other thing that you might be interested in on this stuff is under controls there for walk. Okay, there is lock automatically here. Normally it's set to caps locks, and you might want to get rid of that because you don't want to start walking automatically when you. So, for instance, if I hit caps locks, I start walking. Don't like that. So we go back in, options, controls, walk, hit that, hit escape, and get rid of it. Just one of the hints. Actually, I had a bunch of good hints before. So since we're moving on to the next part, I'll show you some of the other ones. Oh, no. Something I meant to start right at the beginning of this episode and I forgot. Making Fluix grades for AE takes friggin' forever. Because we don't have the energy acceptor in this pack, it's been disabled. You can't make the thing that speeds it up. So you got to just drop them in water and wait and wait and wait and get old doing it. So I'm going to make them now. I have no intention of getting to AE for at least a couple of episodes. And I'm going to come over here and I'm going to drop the. Oh, let me show you something else on why that pool of water is there. This is a suggestion by Panda. For instance, if I showed you a key for, I've got F9 to home on my macro. So if I press F9 now, I end up in the water. Why? If I fall off my base and hit F9, I'll take fall damage. But if I'm in water, I don't take fall damage. And well, I've shown that in other episodes. Panda reminded me I should be doing that. Okay. So we're going to drop the Fluix crystals in there. And wait and wait and wait and wait. So they're taken care of. Some of the other hints that I got were somebody suggested in here, if you're putting coal in manually, you can put in blocks of coal. Just make it a little bit easier that way. Someone else suggested you can pump out the creosote oil with a router. I'm not using this thing anymore, so I don't care. I've got lots of creosote before I figured that out. I also built myself an alloy kiln down here. You put in 3 copper to every 1 of tin, and it makes bronze. I now have a bronze paxel. Oh, and the alloy kiln is pretty straightforward. Sandstone and bricks makes the blocks. Place them in a 2x2x2 and hit it with the hammer to make the alloy kiln. Were there other things? No, that was it. Oh, I guess Dragnaut was the one that suggested the filter on durability for me. Okay. This is a safe wither killing area. Now, I originally had just the bedrock. That's what I was planning on using. And it didn't work. It's worked in 115 I used it in ferrous blocks, and a 3x3 was enough. For some reason, the wither was getting out of the 3x3. When I increased it to a 5x5, it worked. Don't know what's different between 1.5 and or maybe it's just the Paxel has knockback or something. I don't know, but it was getting out. The wither was getting out. I'm not sure whether that block up there is completely necessary, but when I made these anyways, I put it up there just in case. Okay, so the way this works is we come down here and put that there. Now, that must be an empty one. That must be an empty one for this to work, by the way. Put those there like that, so it's lying down on its side. And you know what I forgot? I forgot my wither skulls. We come over here. We got a bunch of wither skulls. Should be pressing control to run now that I've got that fixed. And we'll move back a bit so that we don't take damage when he changes. I think this is far enough. It might be right on the edge there. Well, notice this is cobble. If you have wood here, he might break it. Cobble has some explosion protection. Just explosion, not wither protection. And then we just start hitting the wither. He can't hit us. We take no damage. And we go down to our store. Now, I thought he was supposed to drop. Somebody told me he dropped wither roses, but he's not dropping them for me. Maybe it's the bee that does it. Okay, and so we can do that again. Wait for him to spawn. Reason the bronze Paxil is it does 15, whereas the Osmond one gives it 10. And until I get like a really good sword drop for my mob farm or something interesting, that's what most damage I can. Another wither star. So we need to do that 9 times so that we can get a to get to the wither bee. Is that the wither bee? No. Still, that's the steel bee. Okay. Wither bee. Wither bee. Oh, we want this. The flower is that, so we need 9 of these to make it. And the wither bee for breeding is the soul sand bee and the wither skeleton bee. We don't even have to use the wither skeleton bee because I'm getting plenty of heads from the mob farm. But we do have to breed up to it so we can breed the wither bee. And that takes a soul sand bee and a netherrack bee. The soul sand bee is a netherrack bee and a sand bee. The netherrack bee is a redstone bee and a cobblestone bee. And the cobblestone is sieve and dust. And the other bees you can craft, as you know. Okay, so I guess that's it for this episode. Let me double check my notes. I think that's all of it. Hope you enjoyed it. Go out there and have some fun. Thanks.